It is a huge thing for me to do this. It feels very vulnerable. I think what stopped me in the past is just fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of being rejected as a writer, because you get rejected a lot. So first, let's read the poetry that I have published to that account so far. That is the book, and I hope that you like it. If not, don't tell me about it. This is your sign to just go for it. Hi friends, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. This video, I am actually so nervous to record and post, and in reality, this may not get very many views. If so, that is okay, because the theme of 2025 is we are just doing it anyways. And so that qualifies for right now, for today, of sharing my writing for the first time. I have posted it in various ways on blogs and things, but never in spoken form, which is what I'm going to do today. Now, a little bitty background is that I have always dreamed of being an author. When I was 9, have a picture of myself surrounded by my own books that I had written. I wrote written, authored by, and illustrated by Jenna Nellis. My maiden name is Nellis. So as soon as I could write, I was writing creative stories. Now, that got kind of sidetracked. I wanted to be an author. I wanted to be a novelist. I wanted to have bookshelves of my own creative works one day. That got sidetracked when I went to college and just felt the pull to be more practical. And so I did major in English, but I actually double majored. I double majored in English and communication studies, and I had a lot of negative experiences in college in terms of the grades that I got on my creative writing courses. So I took 2 specifically designated creative writing courses in my 4-year education, because it was an English major, and so there was various courses I had to take in like British literature, all this stuff. And so I focused as much as I could on creative writing while in my bachelor's program. I think it's probably just the overperformer in me, but I noticed that I got better grades in my communication studies classes, which honestly sounds like it isn't a big deal, but it was honestly kind of devastating to me that the thing I loved the most, I didn't seem to be strongest in. And so that kind of sidetracked. It put my writing kind of on a back burner for a long time. Also, I'm a serial starter. I love thinking of new book ideas, writing them down, and writing a few chapters in them and then abandoning them. And so I'm such a serial starter in that sense, but I really do feel confident that I'm going to finish the book that I'm writing now. And a way to keep myself accountable is just to talk about it more in even this capacity. It really helps to be able to keep it, front and center, even as a mom of 2, even with everything I have going on. Just taking 5 to 10 minutes each day to write and to progress this story, I think is really valuable. This year, one of my goals has been to share my writing. Here is the copy from my Notion page, but to share my writing specifically on Instagram more. It is a huge thing for me to do this. It feels very vulnerable. I decided to go ahead and create a Instagram account specifically dedicated to my writing, because that feels less intimidating than posting it to my main page. And so if you want to follow this, there will be some poems, some book excerpts, and things like that posted to that account. The handle name is by Jenna Justman, and here's what the account looks like. It's fairly small right now, so just so you can find it, here is what the account looks like. Just has a few blurbs written by me. And so today what I wanted to do was to read a few of those, just read what I've posted so far, and also to read the prologue to my current novel right now. And so that is what we're going to do. First, let's read the poetry that I have published to that account so far. If you want to hear any of the backstory for any of these, it is usually written right below this on this account. This first poem, I will go ahead and read it for you right now. I want to bottle you, to keep you just like this, to remember each fine line, to savor each small kiss. I want to capture you in ways a picture can't, to rewind how you are right now, to relive the daily bliss. I want to transport you, to whisk you safe away. Time changes the essence of you, alters things I wish could stay. But if I bottled you, then you couldn't travel on. You'd be placed on repeat, a broken track that skips beats, and that wouldn't be fun for long. So instead, I'll travel too, and follow you as you go. You'll change and we'll invite it. To move forward, we can't fight it, and we'll all keep pressing on. Then the second is an excerpt from the book that I'm writing. We board the plane shortly after, and I choose the window seat per usual. I know most people prefer the aisle because of the extra legroom and how claustrophobic they feel otherwise, but for me, it's more claustrophobic looking into the plane instead of out of it. The world looks so wide open from above, and the problems which feel giant on the ground seem so small from up here, just like the people and trees which dot the horizon like fleas. Next is another poem. Don't you want to know how it feels like to truly be carefree? Don't you want to know what it sounds like to be who you were made to be? Don't you even care what it tastes like, the slice of heaven saved for you? You can pause the searching and striving and forcing because the life you're chasing is running after you. The next poem is inspired by the month of January and kind of winter in general. Heated homes, cozy nights, soup for supper, twinkle lights, new beginnings, muted skies, bare tree branches, goals that lie. This is the month for taking a breath as the natural world sleeps and gets winter's rest. So take just a moment to pause the to-dos and embrace what was made to restore humans too. This was inspired by Valentine's Day. It's called Love Note to Self. I love you for being brave, for shooting for the stars, for learning from your mistakes, for celebrating your scars. I love you for being bold, for speaking for what's right, for holding space for others, for trying to be a light. I love you for being broken, for gluing the pieces where they fit, for facing another day, for refusing to stop and quit. I love you for being better, for trying again each day, for knowing that life's about change and always making a way. And then the last isn't a poem, but just a thought on the quote, write what you know. Write what you know, for as you score the deepest places of the human experience, you'll unearth all the things you don't. All right, so that's what I have posted so far on that account. Feel free to follow it if you like poetry and that kind of thing, and I will continue to be sharing weekly on that account. But also, I now wanted to read an excerpt from the book that I am writing. Target audience here is around 18 to 24. It follows a girl named Raven who is a ballerina, but her dream gets sidetracked by an injury, and so she needs to course correct, and she goes off to college as a freshman, really unsure of who she is and what her future is going to hold. And so here is the prologue to this book. All eyes dart to the center of the studio as Mr. Ruby asks me to demonstrate for the class. He beats his staff rhythmically on the floor and counts of 8. I start right on cue. I want everyone to pay attention to Raven's position in the grand jeté en tournant, he says in a thundering voice, a voice that silences the room. She's the only one performing the transition correctly. I can feel the twins' eyes rolling at the public call-out. Stella and Luna are identical twin sisters who can literally leap circles around me. At 5'3", they are built for strength, and their legs of steel can out-jeté and out-fouette and out-ballet any amateur dancer across the state of Montana. But to their frustration and my secret joy, they are often called out for lacking grace, both in and outside the studio. But even with all that secret satisfaction simmering beneath the surface, my cheeks burn with embarrassment at their eyes snap to me. We're often placed in direct competition for leading roles. Don't even get me started on the Sugar Plum Fairy debacle. So I ought to be used to it by now, but regardless of Mr. Ruby's praise or the twins' jealousy, I am and always will be my own worst critic. As instructed, I begin the sequence of movements we've been practicing all morning. I soak in the moment that feels like flying, half dialed into the precision of my feet and half lost to the habitual flow of the familiar movement. My body knows what it's doing faster than my mind can dictate the steps. I love how light my body feels, even with the weight of their eyes on me. Now I want you to pay special attention to her feet, Mr. Ruby chimes in. I feel their gaze go where he instructs, burning through the layers of my toe pads and point shoes. I wonder if they can see the wart on my left second toe or sense the weakness that my body feels somehow. They're like bloodhounds on a scent, those two, a little too giddy when they sense injury or fear. I'm not intimidated by them, I lie. I'm not intimidated by anyone, I lie harder. All at once, something sudden and awkward stops me in my tracks. A slip, a wrongness, a crunch. Time slows to a crawl. Whether it's a grace or a punishment, I'm still not sure, but it allows for one impossibly long moment of fear and dread. I step beyond time's boundary and see myself from above, outside of myself, falling. No, this cannot be happening. Not now, not ever. I'll lose momentum. I'll get out of shape in the recovery. I won't get into Juilliard. Juilliard was a dream of a 7-year-old girl who was obsessed with ballet. Had it not been for the years of encouragement and dedication from my teachers, I might have given up on the dream in the years between 7 and 17. But whether it was because of my talent or their own need to live vicariously through me, I applied myself and went far enough to audition for Juilliard and receive a callback. The callback audition is next week in San Francisco. One more week of intense training, calorie counting, and saying as many prayers as I can to get in. I can't miss the callback. I can't be denied. Not after all these years. Not after all this work. But here it was. The dream I had poured my body and soul into, right within reach, and then plummeting away from it. Almost in slow motion, I could see it leaving. 10 years to form, 2 seconds to break. As I land, my ankle twists in a direction it wasn't designed to go. It broke. In a loud crunch that reverberates off the walls of my small town's dance studio, I lost my dream. And in equal parts grief and pain, I scream. That is the opening of the book, which has a tentative title right now of Raven and Stone. Raven is the main character, our protagonist here, and Stone is going to be a character we meet down the line who's a bit mysterious, who's a bit uncertain. We're not quite sure who Stone is, what his prerogative is, what his story is within Raven's story. So that is the book, and I hope that you like it. If not, don't tell me about it, because my self-esteem in terms of a writer is very, very small. But I just figured that sharing this today would be a little bit of a step in the right direction in terms of just getting my writing out there. I think what stopped me in the past is just fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of being rejected as a writer, because you get rejected a lot. And it is just a difficult thing to swallow when your writing is so precious to you, and my writing is so precious to me. But it's just a muscle that I need to start exercising if I want to get my writing out there into the world. And I think turning 30 this upcoming year, I'll be turning 30 in a few months, about 5 months in July. I think that is just what's encouraging me. You know, Jenna, it's time. Go ahead and share it. Don't be afraid. So my encouragement to you is, if you're in a similar position, if you're an aspiring author, or if you have a dream that you've just been suppressing and it needs to get out there, this is your sign to just go for it. That's just what we're working with. You just kind of have to move forward with what you have to work with, and this is what we're working with today. So my encouragement is to do the same, to move forward in the direction of your dreams. Thank you so much for watching this. If you liked it, please remember to give it a little thumbs up, and I cannot wait to catch you on the next video. Bye, friends.